we carry many selves around inside of us. And my job in PR was to find people who deserve to be iconic. And then to explain to them, first of all, I will not, if you think that I, as your publicist, am going to fashion an artificial mask, an image, and through that make you a star, I'm going to get you an appointment with my best competitor immediately. You'll be with him in hours. If you're going to work with me, you have to understand something. The music you make is about human soul. That comes from the very soul of you. And what happens to you when you go out on stage and feel as if yourself leaves you and you are danced like a puppet, or like a puppet on a string, like a marionette on stage, the force that moves you, that's one of the gods inside of you. That is your soul. And what you're experiencing with that audience is a soul exchange. If you're willing to put up with the fact that music is not about marketing, music is not about product, music is not about downloads, music is about the exchange of human soul, then I will work with you. And
that's quite the statement for a Zionist atheist Jew.
Yes, it really is.
Soul in that manner. That music is, I've thought deeply about music. I've tried to figure out why it has, what it represents and why it has the effects that it has. And I think, and this is a neuroscientific view of it to some degree, and, it seems to me that it's better to think about the world as something that consists of patterns rather than as something that consists of objects. So an object would actually be a pattern that sustains itself across time. That's not all that.
Very, very good insight. You get applause for that.
Well, thank you. And so then you think, well, you can even think about the way the visual system works this way. So we tend to think that there's a world out there, and then there's an image of that world projected onto our retina, and then the image is reconstructed, say, in our visual cortex, and then we can become conscious of that image and plan our actions in consequence of that. But that isn't how it works. The way it works is that there are patterns in the world, and then the patterns are shifted into patterns of light, of illumination, and then those are shifted into patterns of neural activity on the retina, and then those are shifted into patterns of neural conductance along the optical nerves, and then patterns in the visual cortex, and then those are expressed as patterns of movement. So it's all the transformations of patterns, and the meaning of a visual perception is the pattern of action that it gives rise to, which is why you need embodiment to be able to perceive. And I think the reason that music speaks so deeply to us of fundamental meaning is because it's actually the most representative art form. Because people think about it in some sense as the least representative art form. I don't think that's right at all. I think it represents the reality that exists in a profound sense beyond what our senses reveal to us moment to moment. And so it puts people, then when you're moving to the music, and you're all moving to the music, or when you're dancing, let's say, with someone else, and you're as pairs, and you're all dancing together, it's the patterns of the cosmos, so to speak, manifesting themselves as the patterns of the music, manifesting themselves as the patterns of your body in syncopation with everyone else. So it's also a symbolic representation of a harmonious and ideal society. And it is something that's beyond us. And so it's interesting. So I get it. So partly what you're saying, if I understand you, is that for you, the ecstatic collective experience that was associated with music, for example, and pop music perhaps, was, you could see that very clearly as the antidote to painful isolation. And I mean, one of the things that struck me as near miraculous about music, especially in a rather nihilistic and atheistic society, is that it really does fill the void that was left by the death of God. And it's partly because you cannot rationally critique music. It speaks to you, it speaks of meaning, and no matter what you say about it, no matter how cynical you are, you cannot put a crowbar underneath that and lift it up and toss it aside. And so I also think that's why music was such a powerful cultural force in the 60s and the 70s, and like an overwhelmingly powerful force.